works her shuttle, how do you use your hips and waist? So in the 24, if I do it this way, so right now I set my hand up, okay? I set my hand up, but how do it goes down? It goes down because I'm lowering my hand, only because I'm lowering and flexing my knee. If I did not understand it, I would do it this way. But once I understand the principle that our hands go for the ride, I set it up, I lower my knee in the back, and it goes for the ride. When it goes down, how does it come back up to shuttle, to flash arms? You do the opposite, right? This thing got taller. You're shifting your weight and then coming out. How does it expand? Once my energy is dispersed, it moves and helps me with my hand motion. It does not, I don't know if I did it right, but I try to mimic what I see some people doing. But of course, again, you're on your journey. It's not to make fun, but it's just to help, helpful, constructive criticism, okay? All right, let's just try that one. Let's go forward, okay? So left foot on the line, right foot on the other line, 45-degree it. We're going to the bottom of the sea, so we don't need a wide span. We need something like this. Closer, right? Left hand's going across almost like a brush knee, and we're going down this way. We're setting up the hand. Setting up the hand, wearing our mitten, going down on a diagonal rather than going straight down, right? All right? Get that. It's important to get your span and your comfort there, okay? When this goes down, this foot comes up, right? Okay, ready? Up, join it, touch, foot, out. The hands mimic the foot. Sit back, sit down, pivot, shift your weight, fist your hand on the toe. Spin out with your heel. What happens? The hands fall. Set up your hands for needle at the bottom of the sea, okay? All right, so what are we trying to perfect? We're trying to perfect that if our hands are attached to our body, our hands go for the ride because our energy is stored in one of our limbs. It is stored in the right or back in this situation. Therefore, when we go down to the bottom of the sea, we're going to have heavily footed right so that more than 90% of our energy is stored in the back to allow us to bend. Okay, here we go. Set your top hand up, weight on the back, lift up the left, down, up, drawing that foot up, touching with the left foot coming up at the same time you touch, extending that knee, reposition your hands. How are you doing a flash arms? The energy is letting you do that. Sit back. Hands are not moving only because it's attached. Pivot. Shift your weight to the left on your toe in the front. Actually, not shift there, but you know what I mean. Heel out, spin out, deflect, out with your heel, out with your hand, parry and punch. How does apparent closing help us? Okay, now we're going to roll back, make yourself small, sink, spiral. How are you going to spiral up? That energy is pushing you forward. Sit back, sit down, pivot, open, in, shift weight. How are your hands coming up? You're rotating, but the power of unflexing those knees make your hands come up to your chest. Then how are they pushing out? The energy of your left hand pushes out the right. How are they then coming down? How are they then coming down? They're here. You're firm on your feet. You flex. something I was going to say. Whenever you have the opportunity to make your cells small, don't forget that the wrists and the hands make themselves small. If you don't and you leave them out like this, you're giving away that energy that you need to push back out. So I'm specifically talking about turn hips and waists, setting up my hand, moving it only because my power and my energy on the back foot. This is what I meant by contact, but then only push from the center. How is it pushing? Am I just stringing my hands out and coming back? It's contacting. My energy's still stored there. I'm pushing, powering and pushing. How is it coming back? I'm not bringing my hands back, only because my body is coiling up and pushing forward. Okay? Can we try that? On a T stance, grasping of the bird's tail. Root it down, sink, out, move that energy, ward off. Give me my space. Are you then turning your hips and waists, setting up your hands, and moving that energy to the back foot, not moving your hands alone. Then contact, only in the center, then push. Rolling back, making yourself small, and moving that power forward. Sit back, sit down, pivot, firm down, T, out L, push, turn hips and waists. How are they coming down? Power of that back. You can contact, but only power out in the center of your body. How are you then rolling back, making yourselves into a coil, then uncoiling, same time, same synchronizing. We're going to go into a single whip. Now, hook across the face. You're going to turn your hips and waists out on an L, then palms forward. Half step. How are you sitting back? Are you using your hands or the power of your back leg? Back leg gets the weight, therefore all the weight goes to the back. It's natural to open up those palms to the ceiling. As you lift up your front foot to then point it down to pat the horse. Can we try that? So this is essentially what we just did. We were on a single whip, half step forward. As we put our energy to the back foot, it rises. And then, actually I did it too fast. Huh? What am I doing now? What am I doing? Oh, this half step, sit back. If you sit back, your weight is on the back. And each time I'm doing it, I'm not coming here to show that I'm patting the horse. It's that energy that's flowing and stretching. Cross at the wrists, out. And then here again, if you come out wide like an ellipse, come up at the same time your foot comes up, post it down, then you can better kick out with your right. In, down, away from the back foot, coming closer to your body, single whip. Now when you turn, I don't use my hands to come down to help me turn, but because they are attached to my body and I'm shifting my weight, that dictates what my hand is doing. Kind of very different, okay? So let's take it from Second serpent in the grass, going to high pad on the horse, okay? So 2 feet under the line, drag the other one back, single whip, right? Half step forward. Sit back, naturally open those hands, shift the weight, lift up because all the weight is on the back, point down, pat your horse. Cross, step out with your heel in a big ellipse, gather that energy, center yourself, kick out. In, L stance, tuck those elbows closer, punch them in the ears. Now, when you sit back, the hands just go for the ride. Turn, pivot, shift weight, safety, left, out, in, hook, down. All right, everybody look at that toe. Is that toe in line with your heel when you start serpent? We sometimes do not. All we think about is going down. Then ask yourself, are your feet parallel? The feet have to be parallel. Okay, so turn this way so you can see. So what I'm saying is that after our double punch, we sit back, sit down, hands dictated by this shifting of the weight. Right? Parallel feet. I can't have this out this way just because you know you're going out that way. Parallel feet. Hook hand. Hand that's parallel lower. Drop, drop. So this now toed foot can come down halfway. Everything starts to what? Veer to the left. Shift weight up. Toe, pivot in line with that heel. Hook, little higher than lower or at the same eye level. Out, parallel, down, halfway, veer to the opposite side. Stretch. Shift your weight. Shift your weight. Up. Retry that. Starting from second single whip. Half step forward. Sit back. Carve your energy. Up with your left. Point. High pad on the horse. Cross. Step to your left. Make a big ellipse. Gather that energy. Center yourself with your foot coming up, kicking out. In, L stance, tuck those elbows closer to your body, punch them in the ears. Sit back, sit down, sink. Turn, pivot. Hands go for the ride. Left hand, left foot. Up and out. In, parallel, toe. Sink, halfway, veer, left, set, shift weight, golden cockerel. Toe, pivot, hook, higher, split, down, sit, halfway, veer, right, set, suspend, up, shift, golden cockerel. Extend the knee, heel down. Hold your ball. Heel out, turn the hips and waist, hands go up, shuttle on the right. Sit back, pivot out, hold ball, heel, L stance, turn the hips and waist, shuttle left. Half step to the back, set up the hand, bend the back knee, hands go for the ride. Up 1, 2, join it with the other. Foot comes up, touch. Power of the core. Sit back, sit down. Pivot. Hands go for the ride. Deflect. spin out, and forward, parry and punch. Touch. How do you roll back? Make yourself small. Power forward. Sit down, sink. Pivot, pivot, in. Raise the tiger. How do you come up? By extending those knees, not fully, because you're in a semi-squat, pushing out with the power of the left. How do your hands come down? Show me. You have power in your limbs and flexing of the knees to shift your weight the final time. Okay, so that comes to sensations, comes to feelings. So the feeling you should always have is that Tai Chi is very strong in the thighs and the legs. That's the stuff that gives you balance and stores your energy. So what does the top do? The top doesn't try to take that energy and make it theirs. What it does, it keeps you in balance from your, I would say, hips and waist being light, being able to turn. Okay, keeping it light, being able to turn. If you don't understand that and you keep your upper body heavy and weighted like your limbs and thighs and legs, then the clarity or the preciseness for our movements then become cloudy. But once we are clear that everything from here, bottom to our toes and our soles, are strong and sturdy and holds our energy, then we are allowed to then do this movement. But if you don't put this into play because it's too heavy, then we have problems.